Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the Town Council to order, please, on today, Monday, May 5th. And I'm going to ask our kid mayor, Charlie, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Charlie? Charlie, come on up here. Great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a reminder to the audience, we have a Kid Mayor program, and we've been inviting our kid mayors that have won at the various schools in to read their winning essays. And Charlie is representing Webb Elementary School, and he is the kid mayor at Webb. And whenever you're ready, Charlie, just go ahead and read your essay.
Hello, my name is Charlie Mayor-Fudacz. I'm a 6th grader at Webb Elementary, where you may find me playing trombone at the school band. You may also see me swimming for the Wethersfield Barracudas. During my time off, I love to hang with my friends at Village Pizza or the Main Street Creamery. My family and I love how the community comes together for events like bikes and scarecrows on Main. I could list more, but you get the idea. I love Wethersfield. Being kid mayor of my hometown is a massive honor. The opportunity to help improve Wethersfield is a chance I can't pass up. In this essay, I will explain why I want to be kid mayor and what improvements I would make for the town and its community. This is my last year at Webb Elementary, and I want to make it count. Last year I ran for kid governor, and sadly I lost, but now I have a second chance at a similar position. The reason I ran for kid governor and why I'm running for kid mayor is to make a difference in the community. As much as I love Wethersfield with all my heart, nothing is perfect and everything has room to improve. Being able to look at that improvement and know that I was part of the team that did that sounds like a dream come true. The other reason I want to be kid mayor is for the experience, which leads to a better understanding of local government, learning if I want to do more activities similar to this, and to be able to put this on things such as college applications, job approaches, and leadership roles. This is what I would do, what I would like to do for the town. The busiest part of Wethersfield is Silas Dean Highway. It has the library, the post office, and Burger King. But I realized it could use a bit more color. I know it will be much nicer in the summer when everything is alive, but it still needs things like flower beds, benches, and more just color. Speaking of needing color, the schools, especially Hamner, need a bit more pep. Like an outside mural or a garden or an altogether new paint job. The other thing is on weekends, if I want to do something fun, I usually have to leave town because of the limited entertainment for children, being the Eleanor Buckwolf Nature Center, Mill Woods, and Laura's Labyrinth. The rest are seasonal things like the tree lighting. If we could try to attract businesses or make our own fun, like Hartford Science Center, Wethersfield will be much more fun. Also, Wethersfield used to be the Red Onion capital of the world. I think we should lean into that, maybe with a Red Onion Museum or Red Onion Festival. The last improvement, and this is more the Board of Education's business, is homework. Now, hold on, I don't want to ban it. Now, Webb 6th graders don't have homework because our teachers want us to enjoy our lives, which is a good idea, but I think we can improve on that method. I believe we should get what I'm going to call life skills homework. Students should choose experiences such as playing outside for an hour, bake or cook something, learn to sew, or grow plants are some examples. People like me and many of my peers need motivations to learn something new and to be productive, or they will waste their time doom scrolling and feel like garbage. I hope these ideas will come in handy when you're trying to make the town and community better. The town of Wethersfield is a hidden gem of history, beauty, and most importantly, a wonderful and diverse community. These wonderful people only deserve the best, and that right there is the biggest reason I want to be kid mayor, to help give back to the community.
Amazing job. You have great ideas for Wethersfield. As most of you know, but it's worth repeating, I read over 40 essays to choose the kid mayors at the various schools and Charlie is among the best of the best, and he is the winner for Webb Elementary School. Charlie, we're so proud of you. I know your family is. And if the counselors can gather around, we will take a picture. Mom, if you can stay right there in the seat. You probably should stay as mayor. You could run the whole meeting if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, Sue, we'd love to have you in
Be
it.
careful, he's gonna give us homework. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey. Nice.
Everybody gather around. Can you tell us you got it?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Charlie, we're going to shake everyone's hand. Shake all the counselors, all the people up here. Start with me. Go this way and then come back.
Good to see you. Hey, nice job, Charlie.
Good job.
You had a great idea.
Nice job. Back this way.
That comes with a stipend, right, Mayor?
Yeah. There's no pay for this job, but Charlie did a great job. And oh, your essay. Go ahead. And we started this program to teach our young people about democracy with a special emphasis on local government. And Charlie, you hit a home run. So great job and thank you. So we're going to move on in our agenda. I'm out of order, but thank you to the town manager for helping me. We need to do the roll. Sue, please call the roll.
Mayor Lesser?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Forrest?
Here.
Counselor Bailey?
Here.
Counselor Carbone?
Here.
Counselor Clancy?
Here.
Counselor Durick?
Here.
Counselor Rhodes?
Here.
Counselor Timbrow? Counselor Zambrello?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, everybody. I have two proclamations to read, and on the second proclamation, we are going to have I won't say winners, but the group being honored to say a few words. And the first one is about Apraxia Day, and I got to be honest, I did not know what this was, and now I do. Let me read it. It's not that long. This is Apraxia Awareness Day. Whereas May 14, 2025 marks the 13th annual Childhood Apraxia of Speech Day, during which awareness will be raised throughout Wethersfield and all of Connecticut about childhood apraxia of speech, CAS, an extremely challenging speech disorder that affects 1 in 1,000 children. And whereas CAS causes children to have significant difficulty in learning how to speak and is among the most severe speech deficits in children, and whereas the act of learning to speak comes effortlessly to most children, there are children with apraxia, which requires intensive speech therapy, often for many years, often taking them many years to speak. And whereas the primary and secondary impacts of CAS can diminish future independence and employment opportunities, and challenge the individual to be productive, contributing citizens if not resolved or approved upon. And whereas public awareness about childhood apraxia of speech in Wethersfield is essential for families of children with this neurological disorder and the professionals who support them to achieve the needed services for those learning to use their own voice. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Town Council, I, Mayor Ken Lesser, do hereby proclaim May 14th as Apraxia Awareness Day, and urge all residents to recognize the effort, determination, and resilience of these courageous children and their families by joining in an effort to increase awareness and understanding of childhood apraxia of speech. So with that, we have one more proclamation, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because I want Kevin and Rob to come up, who started Bike Walk Wethersfield in 2017 and have done an amazing job making our community more bike and walk friendly. And what I am going to read is the town of Wethersfield has been honored with a bronze level bicycle friendly community award by the League of American Bicyclists in recognition of our commitment to lead the way by investing in infrastructure and in programs that make biking an easier, safer, and more accessible transportation choice, and making us a healthier community. Yesterday we had the bike event, which was a wonderfully attended event. Thank you, Kevin, for allowing me to use your bike. I survived it. I'm a little sore today, but it was a great ride. And we appreciate all the work that you and Rob, the entire committee, also the town staff that's done to make our community more bike-friendly. And I welcome you guys to say a couple words if you'd like. So Kevin and Rob, on behalf of Bike Walk Wethersfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kevin Sullivan from 79 Wright Road. We appreciate this opportunity each year with the recognition of Bike and Walk Month. That's a national event. And thank Mayor and Town Manager for coming to the community bike ride yesterday, sponsored by the Wethersfield Shopkeepers Association. A great event. They chose to create that event and are the backbone of getting it started. We just helped them, so they did an awesome job with it. Just to give you a couple of updates on things that we've been doing since last Bike and Walk Month. We have been working with the Bicycling and Pedestrian Advisory Committee to help provide useful, we hope, feedback on the Plan of Conservation and Development and also the draft Bicycling and Pedestrian Master Plan. Of course, as Mayor just mentioned, we helped with the application for the what turned out to be a bronze award. It's bronze, not silver, gold, or platinum, but we'll get there. And bronze is a significant achievement for that national award. We also recently became a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and we wanted to make sure that you all knew that, because we are trying to network with the business community, because bicycling and walking is good for local businesses. It's not good for larger businesses, but it's especially good for local business. And another thing that we are just about, well, we have started, but you'll see more of it, is a biking and walking safety course for the 4th grade elementary schools. And I'd like Rob to tell you a little bit more about that, because it's modeled after a program that he helped start about 10 years ago in South Windsor, and Wethersfield, with the support of the Police Athletic League, is now, I think, the 4th town in the state to have a program list like this. Rob.
Thank you. Rob O'Connor, 180 Main Street. Just want to connect one of the words of the Bicycle Friendly Community Award, and it's community. And as Charlie said, we have a good community here. And yesterday it was a great example of it. We had, the politicians, we had our town manager, the business community, shopkeepers, and I think we had over 150 riders on bikes, and it was really something to see. And it's really what the Bicycle Friendly Community Award, it's about bikes, but it really is about community too. So as Kevin mentioned, we're starting Bike Safe, Walk Safe, and it's been one of our goals since we started in 2016 or 2017 to get bicycle education into the 4th grade as a part of the curriculum, as part of the PE curriculum. And we've had phenomenal backing from the PE teachers who, before COVID, we did some training and we were kind of slowed down. And then we threw out the big, like, how are we going to afford buying bicycles and a trailer to take this to all the schools and beyond. And we made the connection with the Police Athletic League, who were kind of looking for a program where they'd make a significant impact. And this program really will be, and from my experience in South Windsor, significant impact. You're getting 200, up to 200 4th graders getting bicycle safety, walking safety, and it's a lot of life lessons too. It's more than just riding and walking. It's independence and how to listen to people showing you how to be safe. And the Police Athletic League has really been significant in that. We've had great cooperation with the school systems too. So I didn't bring enough stickers, but I'm going to leave this with Mr. Mayor. We're just launching this. The 2 pilots are going to be in Hanmer and Charles Wright in the coming weeks. By the end of May, we'll have the 2 schools and we'll have the pilot program, and then next year go into the 5 schools and hopefully have a growing program. Each child is going to receive a free bicycle helmet that they can take home, and everybody will have a safe, good helmet, learn how to put it on, learn how to wear it. And we're really looking forward to that program kind of feeding out and taking over into the school system. And we hope to do it, in the middle school also eventually, and do special rodeos.
Maybe for adults too?
Adults too, actually, Kevin and I think our town probably has 5 league-certified cycle instructors from the league, and we can do, private bicycle lessons for anybody who wants to not know that they're not able to ride a bike. But no, we seriously would, to children in 4th grade, you think everybody knows how to ride a bike, and there's all different levels, and I think this program really addresses that, and they'll come away after two or three solid days riding and being safe riders, so. But we thank you guys for all your
Rob and Kevin,
support, actually.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have made a real difference in our community, so thank you guys. We are going to move on in our agenda. We have 3 public hearing items, C and C1. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. First item, it's for Resolution 25-003, and this is for the acceptance of Belcher Road right-of-way extension. As was explained at the last meeting, this is just a short little easement that's required at the end of Belcher Road down to Silas Deane Highway. It is property currently owned by the town, but there is no registered easement on that. We're just kind of cleaning up, and it's for town utilities, stormwater utilities.
That's item C1, and we're going to take these one at a time. So I will now open the public hearing. Does anybody from the public want to speak just about this item? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to C2. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for Resolution 25-004, and this is a resolution to name the T-ball field on Broad Street Green in honor of Judy and Richard M. Keane.
I'll just mention that I went to opening day on Saturday. It's great to see that field being used, and one of the teams playing was sponsored by D&D Market, and they were the Bananas, the Savannah Bananas. If anybody knows, they're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, although our kids, the T-ball kids, weren't doing those kinds of tricks, but the Bananas were playing on opening day. The field is open. It looks beautiful. Thank you to town staff. But this is to honor Judy and Dick Keane for all their years of involvement in sports leagues, including baseball and Little League. So I'll now open the public hearing on this item, C-2, the naming of that T-ball field. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and go to our last one, C-3, Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for Resolution 25-005. This is a resolution approving the Wethersfield Automated Traffic Enforcement Safety Devices Municipal Plan. As you all will recall, Council passed an ordinance that will allow us to move forward with the installation of these traffic enforcement safety devices. They're basically both speed and stoplight cameras. This was a legislation that was passed by the state legislature, giving us the ability to do this. Now the next step is to get the plan approved by Connecticut DOT, but in order to do that, this body has to accept the plan and through a public hearing. So the locations that are being proposed in the plan for the cameras will be the intersections of Silas Deane and Maple, and there'll be 4 cameras there at each of the road entrances of that intersection. Next location is Silas Deane and Wells. There'll be 2 on Silas Deane in both directions. Then there will be 2 more locations on the Berlin Turnpike. One is at Berlin Turnpike and Knott Street. Again, both directions on the Berlin Turnpike. And the final one is on Berlin Turnpike and Arrow by the Cumberland Farms there. And those are the areas where, based upon the ticketing information we have from police for speeding, running lights, and accidents as well. So those are all the data that we needed to basically support our locations, a total of 10 cameras. And as we move forward, we could go back and amend our plan to add additional ones or take any away that we feel is appropriate. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. And just for the council's benefit, this is on our agenda later, so if you want to ask questions or make comments about this or the other public hearing items. So this is C-3 public hearing about the cameras that will be going up hopefully later this year. But does anybody from the public have comment just on this item? Mr. Woodward, come on up, Bob. Again, state your name and address. Just related to the speed cameras.
Bob Woodward, 456 Middletown Avenue in Wethersfield. A question I asked when this first came up, and I just want to re-verify this. Are these intersections going to be marked that there are cameras there?
Yes, sir. We're required to put up signage, and that's part of the plan. It actually shows the location of the sign saying, camera-enforced zones ahead, or something to that effect. We also have to register each of the cameras with the, like if you have Google Maps or Waze on your phone, we have to register the location of them so they will notify people as they're driving that they're coming up on them. So all those things have to be done, so everyone will have plenty of advance notice.
Thank you. And I'm thinking not only of myself as a Wethersfield resident, but people who visit me and aren't familiar with the town. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Woodward. Further public comments on this item alone? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. We'll move on the agenda to item D, which is public comments. And just let me read what I read each council meeting. During the public comment period, members of the public will have 5 minutes to speak on any issue. We have a lighted timer at the podium to help each speaker be aware of the time remaining. When you step up to the podium, please state your name and address. At this point, the green light will come on showing you have 5 minutes. The yellow light will come on when you have 1 minute left. At this time, we ask you to start to wrap up your comments, and then the red light will come on at 5 minutes, and you're asked to complete your comments. I ask that you address your comments to the entire council and refrain from speaking directly to the audience or directly to an individual councilor. I ask you, please do not use derogatory comments, do not do any personal attacks, and please at all times, please remain respectful. This section is for public comment, and the council generally will not engage in dialogue during this portion of the agenda. If any follow-up is needed, please leave your contact information with the town clerk, and the town manager will follow up with you. At this time, I will open the public comment. Please state your name and address. Robin, I saw your hand first. Robin, you're up.
Robin Barraza, 248 Dale Road. First of all, I just want to thank all you guys in advance for the time commitment doing the budget. I spend a lot of time coming to the meetings and watching you. I know there's a lot more of your personal time going on, so thank you on behalf of all of us. I would like to comment on some items that are being considered and, in my opinion, kind of financially irresponsible. Although the council only determines the amount of money that heads over to the Board of Ed, there are certainly a couple of standout items that I'm questioning. The first is the proposed ELL director at a starting salary of $150,000. Our students that are considered ELL in our town account for about 11 or 12% of our total student population. That number is approximately 400, give or take. It frustrates me when I hear that number being said at over 1,000. Please let's stop twisting the information to fit narratives. I know they're using numbers that include special ed, homeless, and others, but our actual numbers for ELL are around 400. So if we're going to use the correct number 400, how is the majority membership on the Board of Ed justifying this? Is there really enough work for a person to fill a 40-hour work week? Seems like that money can be better spent and used directly with the students. This leads me into how can any of you not speak up about the fact that, once again, the Board of Ed is completely fine with 3 security guards. So we're okay spending $150,000 on a new management position, but we're fine with just 3 security guards. We have 5 schools. I know the director of security would do a really good job managing this, but that just means that some schools are going to be left not safe or secure. I went and participated at many of the building committee meetings. I sit here at town council meetings. I watch it online. I watch the Board of Ed. After hearing again and again for some people saying how fearful they are that their kids may get shot when they drop them off at school, no one has said anything about the security guard issue. This is ridiculous, unsafe insanity. So let's be very mindful of what you hand over financially to this Board of Ed, because it's not making good or practical decisions on behalf of our students and teachers. Now, I watched the budget hearings this past week. It's a lot for all of you and all the department heads. They put in a lot of work with their respective departments. I appreciated all the questions that all of you asked, every single one of them, every department head, every person. But that being said, I'll give you an example that I thought was actually very crazy. Here's the example. Questioning on the 2 registrar of voters mandatory state training at the hotels and the expense associated with those events. That's great. Questions were asked, and I actually was happy that those questions were asked. But not one of you actually asked about how much it's going to cost to run a standalone referendum in September at multiple polling places. Only one did. Only one council person did that. Most of you in the building committee are looking to hold a standalone referendum 4 to 5 weeks before the November election. If we wait to November, that would be 0 expense on the tax dollars. But for the record, a standalone referendum only 4 to 5 weeks before a regular election would cost probably $20,000 to $25,000. So I know $20,000 to $25,000 here, $150,000 there seems like chump change, but it really isn't, and it adds up. How could no one else comment, question, or be concerned with that? I call that being very reckless with our tax dollars. That's a really tough nut that you want to throw back at us taxpayers. Do the right and responsible thing and stop being frivolous with our hard-earned money. It's not going to be a good year monetarily for most of us. So please be mindful to all of us residents, us taxpayers, and make the right and just financial decisions on behalf of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Further public comment tonight? Yes, ma'am, and Mr. Young, I have you right after her. Ma'am, please.
Good evening. Judy Tacey, 212 Middletown Avenue. Talked to some of you, and I think all of you got my emails. And just wanted to let you know that, I've lived in town, raised my family here, been here over 50 years. It's the first time I'm doing this. This has not come easy to me, and I'd rather not be doing this. But I was so upset by this increase that here I am. I'm sure a lot of residents are going to be unpleasantly surprised when they open that envelope in July, because I don't think most people realize what's going on. I did the math, and I know mine is going up, if everything stands, at 14%. I got a 2.5% increase along with my husband, which, we pay, a lot of that comes out with our insurances, our medical insurances. Then I have teeth and eyes to take care of that's not covered. That's a lot of expense there, so there's very little left in that pot. I see, when I was reading, and I'm not going to pretend that I understand the budget, because this was way behind me, and I'm kind of just flipping through and just picking out things randomly. And I saw something about directors and supervisor salaries suggesting a 14.76% increase. And I'm not sure if that's like cumulative or every one of them we're going to get that kind of increase, but I'm thinking, holy crow, this is not the time to do something like that. And then there's one informational page on the town website which states revaluation is not a way to generate extra revenue. And my head doesn't process that, because all this extra money is coming out of my money going to the town, so I'm not sure where there's no extra revenue there. And I had a couple of suggestions, and I thought maybe all the departments need to make some cuts. I'm going to have to do that with my household. There's no doubt about it. I can do that because I know my budget and what I can cut and what I can't cut. I can't begin to know what to cut for the Board of Ed or the town, which ones can, but I'm sure that it's there. I'm positive. And Robin, I think her name is, she points to some of that out. There is something like on the Board of Education, the whole list of licenses that they have to do for the computers, and one of them jumped out at me. It was like SurveyMonkey license, and I'm thinking, really? Come on, maybe that can go. And I don't even know how much it was, but I'm just thinking there's probably a lot of that in there. And I would like to suggest no new hires. This is a terrible time And this is huge, and I'm thinking more people in Wethersfield are getting an increase than those few that are staying the same or not jumping with that kind of an increase that I am. And why would you hire new people and add to the bloat of the budget? That's going to be repeated year after year. That doesn't go away. So each year, the budget's going to be that much bigger because you got all these new hires. And so, and I'm not sure about the renaming or restructuring of workers, but that seemed to have caused a lot of increase too, and I'm thinking maybe you don't need to do that right now either. And the other thing was these expenses that were in there with regards to the school. I hope somebody's looking at that because there's a lot of money going to that high crest roof that you're going to demolish and throw away if this referendum comes through. We're just going to put that, all those dollars into the recycling, maybe, or wherever old roofs go. And flooring, same thing. Are you going to do the flooring now, and then when the school comes around for the turn of their renovation, you're going to do the flooring again because it's going to get messed up because they're doing all the work in there? I just thought there's some things that really do need to be looked at. Thank you for all your time. I know that was hard work, but from my perspective, I'm sinking with this increase. So I'm not alone. I have no other seniors are out there with that same 2.5% increase trying to make this end meet. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Judy, and welcome. I know you and I talked on the phone, but it's nice to nice to put a face. I know we talked on the phone. Mr. Young.
Good evening, Robert Young, 20 Copper Mill Road. First of all, I'd like to thank the town clerk for putting in the pictures that I provided a month ago. They're in tonight's agenda, and I think everybody should take a good, clear look at those. I see cracks on that particular tennis court that are that wide. Some are a little wider, and they're deep. Of course, I know they're being fixed now, but on the other hand, 8 years old, something is wrong. And when you put asphalt as the base, when you put stone processed, and then you put asphalt as the entire base, and we know what happens to asphalt. It cracks. And then you put a shielding on of material to cover it. And the words were, oh, we went out this spring and these little tiny cracks became big cracks. Well, those big cracks were big cracks for a while. They were totally ignored all this while. And we should have been going after the town, whoever the company was that put it in and have them do some repair work on it. So anyway, I'd like to thank the town clerk for putting those pictures in, and everybody should consider looking at those pictures. And another thing in those pictures, I took a picture of the parking lot right next to it. That's towards Catone Field. And as we all know, they have these light poles going up with grass, with the curb. And the curbs were missing. The dirt that you would think would be there to plant grass wasn't there. It was just level. It's as though it was not even completed. I would recommend everybody go over there and take a look at it. And I haven't looked at it in 2 weeks now, but there was also a crack that went right down the middle of the entire tennis court. And when I went to look, I saw all these other cracks fixed except for that one that went from east to west underneath that fence. And it was in there at that time, and there's a gate that opens up with a crack in it. Now, again, I didn't go look at it over the last couple days and to see if it was fixed, but originally they didn't fix it. So anyway, last time I was here, which was a month ago, for a regular meeting, I know the last meeting was a budget presentation, and what I was talking about was your budget. And what I was talking about was elections. It's on page 77. We see $146,000 for actual expenditures for the year 2024. As we went into 25, it went up to 271. Big increase. Then the next year, which you're budgeting right now, it went down to 227,000. It took a drop of $43,000, which tells me somebody made a big boo-boo with last year's budget. You overcharged us by $43,000, and you should not have done that if you were good at what you're doing, okay? And in there I see crazy prices. If I go to page 91, capital and strategic initiatives, I see a person last year, 2024-25, making $83,000. This year, you're proposing that he or she is going to make $114,000. That's a hell of a big increase. And then down below, CIP project support and grant match, $200,000 that wasn't in there the year before. The whole budget for that particular capital and strategic improvements initiatives went from $178,000 to $470,000, which is a tremendous increase, and you should look into that. Next, finance and accounting. I see under salaries and wages, we're looking at 12.84% increase. Who makes 12.48% increase? And then travel, it's increasing by 25%.
Mr. Young, your time is up. I'm going to ask you to wrap up. Your 5 minutes are up. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young. Thank you.
I expect to see this disappear after the next election.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Do we have further public comment tonight? Mr. Woodward? Bob? Name and address again for
Bob Woodward, 456 Middletown Avenue in Wethersfield.
Thank you.
I'll go back to some things I said and learned at the budget hearing. When I got my revaluation and I listened to the proposed mill rate of 32.95, I did some math and I came up with a tax increase of 17 and something percent. Not possible when you get a 2.5% increase on pension and Social Security. Then I took the percentage increase from the budget hearing of 4.42 and took last year's taxes and came up with a much more reasonable increase of a few $100s. Didn't make sense to me. To get that increase of a few $100s, I had a mill rate of 29.2. And when I did some math, I found that there is an equivalency rate of last year's 43.22 comes down to 27.9, 28 mils. A lot of discrepancy in these numbers. And they hurt a lot of people out there who make 2.5% increase, or people who work but don't make big salaries or have extra expenses. They really do. I was deeply surprised by the median income in town, and my recollection is it's been around the $80,000 range. And I looked at our taxes when we got them back from our accountant, and I said, okay, our income is a bit over the median for the town of Wethersfield, not too much. That's okay. And then I heard $115,000. We're some 20-something% under the median income, which apparently has jumped 35% or so in the past few years. Wethersfield is on its way to being wealthy town, but a lot of us aren't on our way to being wealthy people with you. The budget says a lot about we want wealthy people who will afford this budget. The budget also says you don't want me, and you don't want others who don't make that kind of money. I hope in the next week and a half, you'll work hard on this. And remember that you're here for all of us. I seem to say this every year, but also that we have rights to equitable taxes under the Declaration of Independence. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Further public comment? Nobody? Charlie? You guys are just hanging around here. It's so nice of you. Thank you, everybody. That will close public comment, and now we will go into the next item on our agenda, which is council reports. Does any councilor have a report tonight? Anyone? Councilor Zambrello.
Thank you. I'm going to be much quicker than I usually am. So the school referendum, the consultants, TSKP and Downs are going to be here at the next meeting. They're going to present the plan to us. So I'm not going to give you a ton of information tonight. Just want to let you know that if you go to the agenda for tonight's meeting, there is a link to the presentation that they gave the board. So you can see all the slides they shared with the information on the schools and the referendum schedule and the pricing, and all that is there if you want to review it ahead of time. But we will learn a lot more at our next meeting, so please come then and you'll get the full presentation from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Zambrello. Further council reports. Deputy Mayor Forrest.
Thanks, Mayor. The Resiliency Committee met last Friday. We did 3 hours of interviews for a possible ESCO. That ESCO is essentially a performance contracting group, so we're going to be looking at a lot of our buildings, a lot of our space, about how we can create energy here. Don't have to go and buy it. We can transform some of our mechanicals, our vehicles, in order to be a little bit more budget friendly. So we are hopefully in the final stages of choosing that ESCO. So just to kind of give everyone a heads up that that stuff's going to start coming hopefully in the next few months. And it will also hopefully help out with a lot of our capital improvement projects that we see on a lot of these lists, because those are affected with things like chillers and HVAC equipment and things of those natures, things of that nature, that the performance contracting process will hopefully take off and that we can pay for it, not necessarily directly through our budget as we currently see it. So looking forward to seeing what we can do. We will see.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Forrest. Further council reports. I have a couple, so bear with me. I actually have more under council comments. But first, the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee met last week. I am the liaison of that committee. A couple updates. One is they are doing a survey of needs for seniors, and in their process of writing the survey now that will go out to our seniors and what's important to them. Two, they have their annual event May 15th. You might remember from our last meeting, Eunice DeBella gave a report. She's the chair of the Senior Citizen Advisory. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Chair of the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, and they have their annual event May 15th. It's being done by the police department, who's going to talk about fraud, what fraud seniors are most susceptible to. That is coming up Thursday, May 15th. And then I'll just report, just prior to this meeting, the town manager and I, assistant town manager and others met with the OPEB Trust Committee met, Volunteer Fire Department Pension Group met, and the Town Pension Group. And the interesting thing to report here is, even with all the volatility in the market since the beginning of the year, those investments are still up. And the reason for that, and the report we got just before this meeting, a little before this meeting, was that our portfolio in all those cases is very diversified. And we are getting excellent management from our financial managers. And the good news is that the town funds that support our volunteer fire department retirees, our regular retirees, is in really good shape. And that's the important thing to note from that. If there's no other council reports, I will go on to council comments. Does any councilor have a comment tonight they would like to make? No, you're going to have to hear from me, guys. Sorry, I have quite a few. It won't take long, but I have quite a few. A lot of things happened in the last 2 weeks, including my oldest daughter getting married. Hey. But there's a lot of other things that I want to point out to the community. The first is, on Saturday, the T-ball field, the old T-ball field, now the new T-ball field on the Broad Street Green opened with its first game opening day. I watched a little of the game. The kids were terrific. I saw one hit the ball and run to third base instead of first base. I saw another one hit the ball and run backwards, but it was great to be there. The D&D Market sponsored one of the teams, and the team's name was the Bananas, after the Savannah Bananas, those of you that know about them. Another one is, I wanted to mention, I'll get this right, Fresh Market opening. A lot of you were there. I know, I'll get this wrong, but Councilor Carbone, I know Deputy Mayor Forrest, Town Manager was there, and if I'm forgetting, Councilor Rhodes was there, and anyone else that I forget, I apologize. It's always difficult when you start naming people, because inadvertently, but it's great for Wethersfield, and it opened, inadvertently, you forget someone, it opened on the 23rd, that's Fresh Market. Last Thursday, I participated in the National Day of Prayer, May 1st, at St. Lutheran's Church in Wethersfield, and I said a prayer for our community. And I'm looking through my list. There is something, if I can find it quickly, I want to read to the council and the community. If I can, I'll describe it, but it was, the description of it is, the writing of it is better than I could tell you. So as soon as I find it, which shouldn't be long. That's not it. Again, if I don't find it in a minute, we'll just keep going. So, yeah, sorry about that. It is important, though. So, Wethersfield was recognized for a very prestigious award in the state of Connecticut called the Wellspring Award. And some of you may remember, councilors, you may remember, we had the director of the Age Well Collaborative here. And you may remember the big posters that they're still in the community center that were on resilience and aging well, and it's the Age Well Collaborative. And along with West Hartford and Newtown, we were recognized as, well, with this Wellspring Award. I will get an invitation out to all the counselors, but I'm sorry, I don't want to take the time now. We have time before it's June 11th to read, but basically it said that, you know, we are a pioneer in exclusivity, in aging, and not aging, but in programs for aging, that we are a leader in Wethersfield. You may know we had some daring dialogue here in Wethersfield. We were the first one in the state of Connecticut to do that. We had the presentation on the aging program that I just mentioned, and we were recognized for that and many other things as being a leader in the state of Connecticut and receiving this Wellspring Award. And we will be honored June 11th at the American Museum of Art. All counselors will be invited. Actually, the community is invited. We'll get more information out, and we are honored to receive this award. I wish I could read the reasons we got it, but I don't want to take the time to find it on my phone. I will do that for the next meeting. I'll just check if I have anything else before we move on. I do not. So that's it for council comments, unless anyone wants to make one after that, all that. The next is the town manager's report. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quickly, as has been mentioned, we did wrap up the budget work sessions with all the departments over the last few weeks. So now it's the council's opportunity to decide what they want to do with the proposed budget. You know, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of comments made regarding the revaluation and, you know, why, you know, if we're only increasing the budget between 4 and 5%, there are some people seeing 17, 14, 20, I've seen 50. And the reason is it's all market-based. Again, it has nothing to do with the budget itself. It is based upon the valuation of your property and what we saw in this reval, which was atypical. Generally, you see, you know, a third is the general rule. You know, a third will go up in value, a third will be about the same, and a third will go down. On the residential side, that's not what happened this time. We saw most of them go up and go up quite a bit on the residential side. On the commercial side, we saw the values not drop, but they didn't go up nearly as much as the other properties. And so what we saw ultimately was a shift in the tax burden from the commercial to the residential, and that's why you see that large increase for some of the homes. It's unfortunate. We have to follow the procedure. It's state law, It's mandated, and we have no wiggle room with respect to how we implement it, with the exception that the council can't consider a phasing in over a period of a few years until the next reval. And that's something I know they're discussing. It doesn't mean it's going to go away. It just means it'll be incremental as opposed to all at once. So that's something that, it's serious. It's something we have to deal with. But it was really a shift of over $3 million in tax revenue went from the commercial side to the residential side. And that's before any new budget. Okay, so that's just the reality we're dealing with here. And we all know it's very difficult, and we're, doing our best to try to work through it in a way that's going to be the least impactful for you all. So I just want you to know that. Superhero Sunday was just this past Sunday. The Connecticut Children's Foundation did their race and their festivities at the Cove. That was very successful for them. It was a great fundraiser, and I believe they'll be coming back. So it was, I think, a great community event. Bicycles on Main was already mentioned. A great crowd there yesterday, and the weather held out, which we're happy for. And this is all part of the month-long Bicycles on Main celebration. So if you haven't been down there yet to see the bikes all along Main Street, please make some time to get down there. There's some great displays. Another event that took place was the Arbor Day celebration and the tree planting at Silas D. Middle School. I believe the deputy mayor was part of that as well. And so a lot going on in town, but I just wanted to thank everybody involved, all the staff that took part in those events to make them a success. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Town Clerk, Sue?
Just the April 2025 EDIC memo and report is included in the agenda packet for everybody to review.
Thank you. And before we go on, this is not long, before we go on to the consent agenda, I did find our award notification, and I'm going to read it because I think it sounds great for Wethersfield, and it is great. Congratulations. It is my great pleasure to inform you that the town of Wethersfield has received the Connecticut Age Well Collaborative's 2025 Wellspring Award for fostering community inclusivity for every age and every ability in Connecticut. We celebrate your work toward disrupting ageism and ableism, embracing the spirit of community co-creation, and working toward the vision of Connecticut communities where we can all thrive across the lifespan. Thank you for your commitment to creating long-term systemic community impact. Please find your official notification award attached, as well as a template for a press release for you to adapt and share if you want to share this great news. Look forward to lifting up your great work. Alyssa Norwood, Director of the Connecticut Age Well Collaborative. So that'll be June 11th. We'll get more information out to you at the Museum of American Art when we receive our award. Moving on, we have no bids tonight. We have next the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move acceptance of the consent agenda.
Do I have a second? Was it Councilor Zambrello? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimous. We're moving on to K-1, Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, this was an item we just had the public hearing on, R25-003, and that's for the acceptance of the Belcher Road right-of-way extension.
Do I have a motion? And then we can ask questions. Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve R25-003 and acceptance of Belcher Road right-of-way extension.
Do I have a second? Councilor Clancy. And discussion on the motion. Councilor Bailey.
A question for the manager, just for the record, nothing will be paved. It'll be, whatever's done there will be returned to regular grass.
This is essentially just creating the easement. The utilities are there. It's just, we didn't have the easement on the utilities themselves.
Okay,
It's just,
so nothing will be paved or anything, all right.
Thank you, Councilor Bailey. Further council questions. Councilor Carbone.
I'm just curious, the 824 report of the planning and zoning for Butler Road, is this a mistake going in the agenda? Does it mention, what does this have to do with the Belcher Road?
so anytime there's an acceptance of property or easements, or the sale of property, or the granting of easements of town property, we're required to do an 824 through planning and zoning. It's more or less just an exercise we have to go through. It's presented to them just like it's presented to you all, and they determine if there's any issues with it. So that's just a memo from them saying they've looked at it and they don't have any issues.
I looked at, but I'm so confused because one says Butler and one says Belcher. So why is one on Butler? This is, do you know what I'm saying? It says
I'm
31
sorry.
Butler Street.
I think that might just be a typo. I'll have to look into that.
Okay.
It's for Belcher Road.
Yeah, because they're, I don't know if y'all see that.
And it was presented to them as Belcher Road too, so.
So if we could just, because it says, I don't think it was presented to them in this context on Belcher Road because it says adding 1.5 acres to the Harvey Fuller Apartments.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, that's a separate one. I think you're looking at, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but we have no motions, we have nothing on the agenda regarding this.
Because that's for introduction only. We can provide that.
As a resolution.
No, there's nothing, is it where?
A1.
Is it just a typo?
No, yeah,
The other-
no, K1 is for Belcher.
That has Butler.
Yeah, I think that attachment was put there incorrectly.
I think it's an
So,
accident,
okay.
right, 'cause it has nothing to do with
catch.
anything else on the
Yep,
agenda.
no, that shouldn't have been there.
Good catch, Counselor Clerk.
Perfect, okay, so now I can move on with my
Yeah,
next question.
that's for something different. I was confused what you're talking about. I apologize.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So you said there's going to be no pavement there, but the brush will be cleared and they'll just kind of we'll be maintaining grass there? Or
Maintaining our easement for the utilities, correct.
Okay, perfect. So on both of these, on the maps, they're just a little different. So when we look at this preliminary map here, where it shows, it says the current limit of Belcher Road, and then you have the little area of the road to be extended, just those little cross lines.
Yep.
The property line goes straight to the Silas Dean, where on the flip side, on this paper, I'm not sure, so do we have an easement through that property that just got sold? Is that how?
So this is part of what we're doing here. We're establishing the easement on both our property and the property that just got sold, because we do have utilities that go through there, because the intent originally was that Belcher Road would continue down and through. That never happened. It's not going to happen. But we still need to record the easement, because without the road going forward, we need to make sure we record that easement. So there's just a small piece of that adjacent property that there'll be an easement on. We're not going to be building anything on it.
No, I understand that.
And our property as well.
So I'm just double checking. So that 8-foot parcel that's west on the easement, that is owned now by whoever purchased the Corpus Christi property? Is that
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what that does is, I just clarifying for everybody, that gives us permission to just access their property if we need to?
If we need to for the utility work, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well said, Counselor Carbone.
Yes,
Thank you. Further council comments? I'll now call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Thank you. Item K2, Mr. Town Manager. Well, actually, we can go right to the motion, right? Yeah. Deputy Mayor Forrest.
I move to name the T-ball field on the Broad Street Green in honor of Judy and Richard M. Keane.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any questions or any discussion? Deputy Mayor Forrest.
Just as a moment of reflection, I think, Richard Keane was my Little League baseball coach. And obviously, the Keanes have had a long history with the green and their close proximity to it. And it certainly seems like a proper naming, and he gave a lot to this community as part of my upbringing. And it's really appropriate that it happens to be a T-ball field on the green. There's a lot of things that align with this one, and I'm happy to support it, and I hope everyone else does too.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Forrest. Any other Counselor Carbone?
I was just going to reiterate that Judy Keane is such a special lady, and she does so much for our community, and I'm really happy to see this little acknowledgement for them, and I hope there's more to come.
Thank you, Counselor Carbone. Further council comment? I'll just add that I also think it's very fitting. We don't get that many opportunities as a council to name things. We get some, but rarely. This is very fitting. I call Judy Keane the fairy godmother of Wethersfield for all the wonderful things she does for our children. And I'm only learning how much that her husband also did. And I learned this weekend that when they were drafting teams for Little League, he would often take players that nobody else would take.
That was me, probably.
I didn't mean to.
For some reason, I don't doubt that.
That was really funny that it came right after mine.
Yeah, I didn't mean to insinuate that was you, Deputy Mayor Forrest, but that was very funny. Good,
That was funny, right? We can laugh at ourselves.
Good comic timing.
funny.
Good timing. But that he would take players that nobody else wanted, not necessarily you, Deputy Mayor, but just adding to kind of the type of person he was. So I'm so glad we're able to honor his late memory as well as Judy. So if there's no other council comments, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Number 3, do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Forrest?
I move to approve R25-005, the Wethersfield Automated Traffic Enforcement Safety Device Municipal Plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Clancy. Questions or comments? I have one when it's Councilor Bailey. Who
I'll go second.
did Rich do it?
No.
No.
I don't know why she was pointing at me.
I was pointing to Emily. I'm like, please let her go. Let her go.
I have a quick one.
Councilor Zambro.
I just had one clarifying question. So the locations you mentioned, they're both red light and speed cameras?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Zambro. Very efficient tonight.
Yeah.
Questions or
Yes.
comments?
I'm giving you a break this time.
Yeah. Councilor Carbone.
Yes, thank you. So to piggyback on what she just said, so they will be both operational as a red light and a speed traffic at the same time?
2 different devices on the same pole, mounted on the same pole, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to approve this plan, but it's subject to change?
Correct. It goes to Connecticut DOT for approval, so they can come back and say, we want this, we want that. Or at a later date, after they've been up for a while, you all can say, look, we need one somewhere else too, or we don't like that one anymore. So we can come back to you and we can amend the plan anytime. But we'd have to go back to Connecticut DOT. You'd have to do another public hearing. There's a process that would have to take place, but you can absolutely amend the plan as you
But we
move forward.
can't amend this plan once it's been approved, it's going to go up?
Once it's been approved by
By the DOT.
Connecticut DOT, we'll go out to RFP, then the bid from the company to install them will come back to you all. At that point, you could stop it if you wanted to.
Take a camera out or
Yeah.
two, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Councilor Carbone. Further council questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Forrest.
Thanks. As we go around and talk to people throughout years, there's always sort of quality of life issues. Speeding is certainly one of them. We've seen increased crashes on the Celestine Highway. You think about noise and pollution and garbage, and blight and all that stuff. So these types of changes are very positive, and I'm happy that we're the council that is starting to really take care of some of these quality of life issues. So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Further council questions or comments? Councilor Timbrow.
I just wanted to know if there was a timeline for once it goes to DOT about how long it takes, so we know if we have to redo everything or not.
DOT said probably 2 to 4 weeks, but they've already had the plan for a while, so I'm hopeful that they've done an initial review, so it won't take that long, but yeah, basically they say that it's usually pretty quick turnaround. They're not getting a ton of these right now, so we're kind of ahead of the curve, so hopefully it'll go through pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Timbrow. Further council questions or comments? Let me make a couple here because I want the public to know how important this is. This was one of the first initiatives of this council and passed unanimously, and we really need this. We had 3 fatalities on the Celestine Highway last year, 2024, and not just in Wethersfield, not just in Connecticut, but all over the country. There is so much reckless driving, speeding, running red lights, and we need to make our roads as best we can safer. It's a long process. I think Washington, Connecticut, I know Washington is one of a few towns who, is that right? Yeah, has already implemented it. We were one of the first in Connecticut to pass it. It takes a long time. Sometimes things in government take a long time. This is one of them, and this is the next step in the process to get this approved. We're not done. The cameras aren't going up right away. We still have more to go with DOT, but this is an important step for our community. I think of all the issues that I hear from our residents that they're complaining about, and I do get a lot of residents, talking about different issues they're concerned with. I would say speeding is at the top of the list of things that I hear that citizens here are upset about or want us to do something about. There are many others, but that one I hear about the most. So I thank the council for taking this step or another step along the process thank the town manager, and a lot of work has gone into it, and we're still not done. But if nobody else has any comments or questions, I will call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Okay, moving on in the agenda to L, am I the right one? L1, which is, do you want to explain this? You want me to get the motion first?
Well, I'm not sure if you have a motion, but just in general, this item's been before you.
Town manager, yep. go
We
ahead.
have approximately $2.3 million in capital reserve funds that you all can use for capital-related projects. From previous meetings and conversations, we have requests for $100,000 for consulting funds for the Financial Resilience Committee's work. That's to, right now, we're in the process of hiring an energy services company, an ESCO. To make that happen, we've been working with an owner's rep. So we have a company, because it's all very technical and very specific work that they are going to be doing for us. So we have a company that represents us to make sure everything's above board and the prices make sense and everything is being vetted. And so this is to have funds to do additional work with that owner's rep company, and that's NV5 that we have a contract with now. Also on this is a request for $30,000 for a government history project, and I'll let the deputy mayor explain this in more detail. And then there's a request for $76,715 for an animal control officer vehicle, which is also part of the CNEF request for this upcoming year's budget. But we're in the process of hiring a new animal control officer, so we have a need for a vehicle as soon as we can get it. So that's why we're asking you to consider it for this item as well.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. In a second, I'll take a motion, but for the public's benefit, I just want to know, these are the old, and the council's benefit, the old ARPA funds that are now in capital reserve, and there's approximately 2.3 million, correct? Somewhere in that, pretty close to that neighborhood. And this is a proposal for a piece of that. There's still a large piece left over. So I'll take a motion, and we can have more council comments and questions. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Forrest.
Move the town manager to execute any documents and use funds from the capital reserve fund to effectuate the following projects. $100,000 consulting funds for the Financial Resilience Committee's work on renewable energy and other cost-saving revenue-generating projects. $76,715 for animal control officer's vehicle, and $30,000 for the government history project.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Durick. I now open it up for council questions or comments. Councilor Carbone.
Hi, thank you. So I actually wasn't prepared to say anything about this just because I didn't realize we were going to actually be voting on this. I thought it was more for discussion. I just find it very difficult to vote for this. We're so deep into the budget season and we're so behind. We're starting so far behind the gate financially as a town that when I look at these, the consulting funds, the Financial Resilience Committees, was that you, Matt, and Tom who came up with the brown barrel for the Financial Resilience Committee?
Yes, that was one of the projects.
Right. So the problem I have with that is that's now costing us, what, $250,000, let's average a year. So I'm not sure what kind of savings we found there. I'm sure people really like the brown barrel. I know a lot of people do. I know my husband really likes the brown barrel. But to do that, to fund that right now, I just don't think it's prudent. The $76,000 animal control officer vehicle, I think that's something we can discuss moving forward with the budget. I don't necessarily think we have to vote on that today. And as far as the government history project, Matt, I want to, Counselor, sorry, I want to thank you for giving me a little bit of a heads up with that and showing what the panels look like. Unfortunately, again, for $30,000 for a history project, I find it, especially at this time, I find it insensitive, and I think it's unnecessary. So, we have people who got up here and speak, they can barely afford their increase, and we're going to waste their taxpayer money on something like this. Wethersfield is steeped in history. We love our history. All our, residents love it and are proud to live here and be a part of it. But on the flip side, I think it's a little, I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Carbone. Further council comments or questions on the motion? You guys want to?
No, I was just asking the deputy mayor if he wanted to talk more about the art project or anything on this, but I don't have any comments.
Sure.
Deputy Mayor Fudacz.
Thank you, Mayor. As we've talked about a few times up here in the dais over the last 2 years, we've sort of talked about a couple things regarding our history. And one is we look on the right here side of the wall and we see how sort of tattered and some of the pictures are faded and so forth here. And this council chambers itself has some of our history. And over the last 2 years, we've been talking about how wonderful our history is and perhaps maybe some of the richest in the entire state, maybe even in the country. And that there wasn't really a good method to teach our children and our citizens about that history and through its length, before 1634, in the 1800s, in the 1700s, up till today. So over the last few years, we've been working on a project, the town manager, myself, the Historical Society, to really bring to fruition a display which is equal to the greatness of our history, the good stuff, and sometimes there's not so good stuff in our history, but that we have a way in which we can tell the history of our town. We have a display which will be able to display the history of our town. It has the opportunity to be mobile, to bring it into the classroom. It can be created in book form, and it will really bring out of the books that are sitting in the old academy somewhere and in our library somewhere to be part of the living history of our town. And it will correspond exactly with the rest of these pictures that we have in our council chambers. So I think that we'll find that it's going to be something that I know that we'll find it's be something that we're very proud of. It'll be something that I think will be eye-opening for all the people that come through this building and through many buildings in town. And it will be good for our town to be able to learn about its history and to be able to display it and have it be part of our prideful history.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Further council questions or comments? Councilor Timbrow.
I just wanted to echo Councilor Carbone's comments. I think we're in a position right now where we have to weigh, especially with the budget and everything she spoke to, what's necessary and unnecessary for timing. I'm not saying that it's a never thing, but to maybe delay and see if there's a different place that these funds could go that make more sense would be the more prudent thing to do, given everything that we've heard over the past couple weeks and tonight. So again, I just think it's not saying a never thing, but we have other necessary items that these funds could be possibly helpful with, and I don't see these as being necessary right in this moment either. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Timbrow. Further council questions or Councilor Dirk?
Thank you, Mayor. So a few thoughts on this one. As far as the animal control officer vehicle, I'm a big believer of giving tools to our employees. If you're going to have an animal control police officer without a proper tools, a proper vehicle, I think it's unsafe, and I also think that person will not be able to do their job properly. So for me, that's a no-brainer when it comes to that. As far as the consulting fee, it is my understanding that we're going to be getting different proposals as far as the energy savings in the short and long term. And just so we don't get to the point where we make a mistake based on just somebody's proposal, we're paying somebody who does this on an everyday basis to tell us if these proposals actually make sense or not. So it is $100,000, but if this is going to help us save millions of dollars going down the road, I think it's a very safe, it's a very good investment. And also going back to me not being the one or somebody else being the one saying if these proposals for energy efficient savings make sense or not. We need somebody who actually knows this. I'm not the one who can actually say that all these are legit, they all look good, and that's for that reason I think we need to pay somebody to tell us if these are good projects to move on or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dirk. Further council questions or comments? Councilor Carbone.
Thank you. I'm not sure what the motion said, but I can only I can't remember the exact wordage of the motion. But this says $100,000 for for consulting funds for the Financial Resilience Committee's work on renewable energy and other cost-saving revenue-generating projects. So if it was specific, it's just specific for hiring consultants, or is it using and other cost-saving revenue-generating projects? Is it for projects?
It's intended for the consultant.
Strictly consultant?
Correct. It's basically for our owner's rep to, as Councilor Dirk stated, we expect to get many proposals for projects with this ESCO coming on board, and our staff doesn't have the expertise necessarily to review those in a way that's going to be meaningful. So we want to make sure that we're protecting the town every step of the way, and to do that, we're going to, the best practice is to have your own consultant on board to review those.
So if we were to look at the budget as a whole, what department would this, because we don't have a financial resilience department, what department would this go under?
It's a committee established by this council, so it would fall under the town manager's budget.
Okay. So if a line item in the town manager's budget will include this moving forward?
If you're looking for a department to put it in, yes. Right now, it would just go under a line item that finance has already established for these projects. They have a separate account for these projects. And it's basically, we've used up the money that was previously allotted to get to where we are now. And now this is just adding money back into that account. In terms of what department's in charge of it, it would be the town manager's department.
When did we do this last year?
This was done initially 2 years ago.
When the committee was developed?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and it's not something we can do on an as-need basis? We want to hire this consultant, will you approve the funds?
Well, the work that's going to come up is going to be, depending on where we are in the council meeting cycle, it can be a bit of a challenge. So what we did last time was we just put amount of money in that we could draw from. If we don't use it, it'll roll back into the general fund at the end of the year.
And we have none in there now?
Sorry?
We have no revenue left in that fund now?
It's it's down to like $1,000 or $1,500, something like that now. Yeah.
Okay. And if we cut the number to like 50,000?
If you cut the number, then we'll use what we have, and if we need to come back for more, we'll come back for more. Yeah.
And I can remember the police asking for the animal control officer vehicle too during our budget discussion. That's not something that, we could talk about it through,
Again, you could certainly talk about it then, but we are hiring, as I mentioned to you all before and during the workshops. We used to have a partnership with Newington, where they had the full-time animal control officer and we had 2 part-timers. Newington has pulled out of that arrangement unilaterally. They decided it wasn't for them anymore, and that we would have to, fend for ourselves, if you will. And as it would have it, part of that reason probably was the fact we've had difficulty hiring on the part-time side to cover our piece of that.
Were we using one of their vehicles?
Their ACO was using their vehicle, yeah.
So from a different town, we're using their vehicle.
Yeah.
So right now, we don't have one hired, though.
We actually
Do you have one hired?
We have someone that they're going through the background checks and those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Carbone. And I'll just add, and I said this before, but it's worth repeating, these are old ARPA funds. These are proposal to spend a portion of those, and there'll still be, if this is approved, roughly $2 million, a little over $2 million of those funds. These are separate from the budget that we're looking at. These are, again, old ARPA funds not spent. Some of you remember a lot of these were funds that were allocated for the field that were never spent, a large portion, just for the public's benefit. I'm sure the council remembers. So, are there any other council questions or comments? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Or nay?
Do you need
Sorry, yes, I'm opposed. No, nay.
Town clerk, do you need a roll call? So I'm going to call the roll.
Call the roll. Counselor Bailey?
Nay.
Counselor Carbone?
Nay.
Counselor Clancy?
Aye.
Counselor Durick?
Aye.
Counselor Rhodes?
Aye.
Counselor Zambrello?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Forrest?
Yes.
Mayor Lesser?
Yes. Motion passes.
Oh.
I think we still have one more.
I'm trying to get
Counselor
it
Timbrell?
here, and it's not letting me,
See that, you
but
should come on time more.
Counselor Timbrell?
Counselor Timbrow,
No.
thank you.
Are you good?
I'm good, no,
Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right, so now I'm going to get back to where we are on the agenda, which is new business, M1. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next three items, M1 through M3, are resolutions that are required by the state in order to apply for grant funds for the purpose of constructing the new or renovated elementary schools. The first resolution, R25-006, is a resolution authorizing.
Excuse me,
Yep.
Mr. Town Manager, do we skip M1?
I think we're on M1, not
N1 is a name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
this, the
I did.
connectivity grant,
Thank
not
you.
the.
My apologies. My apologies. I thought you said
Thank you,
N.
Counselor Zambrella. M.
And poor David's out here going, when am I ever going to get out of here? He's just jumping right over me. Apologies. Under new business. So this is the Community Connectivity Grant Program application. This is just a motion to authorize us to submit this grant application. I'm going to have David Elder, our town planner, come up and give you some background on this. Similar to the grant we received later last year in the fall for the sidewalk gap closures, this will help us to add to that. And so, David, if you will.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, council members, thank you very much for having me. David Elder, the town planner, 505 Silas Dean Highway. As the town manager expressed, this is an application similar to what you have received. Wethersfield has actually been very successful in receiving non-motorized or active transportation infrastructure projects over the last 10 years. I think a lot of it is due to the work of several people in the audience tonight. This is a grant program. The town received one in 2017. It is called the Community Connectivity Grant Program. I've been helping Derek Greger, the town engineer, and Vlada Raganis, the strategic and capital initiatives director, prepare the application for submission. And in 2017, you submitted an application to fill a sidewalk, reconstruct sidewalk gaps that you have. The proposal here is to also apply for construction projects to fill in some of these sidewalk gaps. You have a very robust, comprehensive list of sidewalk gaps. It actually, it appears, and I can stop at any point, Town Manager, but it seems like in 2013, the Plan of Conservation Development really went pretty hard at identifying some critical safety areas and where the town should focus on its non-motorized infrastructure, including on-road bicycle networks, off-road bicycle networks, sidewalks, crosswalks. It also identified the high crash intersections in town. And so this is a state-funded program that would help construct the sidewalks. There is no municipal match. The municipal match is essentially the town's ability to design the project. The deadline is May 21, and the requested action tonight is a motion to allow the town manager to submit the application on the town's behalf. And I'm happy to answer any questions to my best ability. If there's some very detailed ones, I may need to follow up with you after I talk to Derek or Vlada.
Thank you, Dave. Does anybody have any questions of Dave, our town planner? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I will now take a motion. Anybody on M1, Mr. Deputy Mayor, please?
Thank you. I'd like to move the council to authorize the town manager to submit an application under the 2025 Community Connectivity Grant Program.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Zambrella. Discussion. Any questions or comments from councilors? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Town Manager, we're on N. We're going to do it on 1, 2, and 3, and these are for introduction, everybody.
Yes.
These are not for votes tonight.
Correct.
These next 3 items are for introduction. Mr. Town Manager.
Next 4 items are for
Oh, 4,
introduction, actually.
yeah.
So, but the first 3 are regarding the elementary schools. So the Board of Ed has voted to approve the master plan that's been developed by the consultant for the construction and/or renovation of the 5 elementary schools and making Webb a 5-6 academy. With that, there are 3 resolutions that are required to apply for the matching funds. The first R25-006 is just giving the Board of Ed the permission to apply for those funds for the 5 schools. R25-007 is a resolution that the Wethersfield Advisory School Building Committee is established as the building committee for these projects. They've been established in the past to work on, to get us this far, and also to work on the Silas Dean Middle School project. Now they have to be established as the one to carry this project forward if it passes at referendum. And then the third one, R25-008, is a resolution authorizing for the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications for the construction of the new school at Highcrest on the Keisha property and the renovation of the other schools. So with that, again, this is for introduction only. We will have the consultants here at the next meeting, as Councilor Zambrello stated earlier, and they'll be essentially presenting the master plan and what they're proposing. And then we'll be looking for your approval. After this, the next step will be the actual setting of the referendum, holding the public hearing for that, and so that'll take place in June. This application is due in June, so we need to, the timeliness is very important to get these 3 resolutions passed. Happy to answer any questions.
You want to do those first and then do the 4th one?
We don't have to do anything. This is just
No,
for
no,
introduction.
questions,
But
did you-
oh, yeah, we'll do questions for these.
Okay,
if
so
anybody
these are on the school resolutions, number 1, 2, and 3, and these will be, this is for introduction tonight. We will vote on these on our next meeting. We'll have a full presentation from TSKP, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, consultants.
And Downs.
And Downs. And does anybody have any questions tonight, though? Councilor Carbone.
Thank you. So the resolution 25-006, where it talks about accepting or rejecting a grant for the construction, are we talking, is that the reimbursement?
Yes.
And then how are we doing with that number? I've heard that it's fluid, essentially. Like we are, getting 56% the dollar for whatever, but there are other towns that get more. And
56 is the number that we got for the high school. That's the number that we're slotted in right now. We are requesting that our legislators try to get us more than that. And that's, right now, that's all I can tell you. There's not much more to say than that we are.
Is there anything we can do as a town to increase that reimbursement rate, since other towns are getting higher numbers?
Again, talk to your legislators and,
PSA, talk
Yep.
to your legislators, push forth, and then, okay.
Yeah, we can keep going, but we are talking to our legislators, and we're hoping for more.
Well, please feel free to reach out to any of us, to go talk with them, or do what we can to, because obviously, ultimately, it will save taxpayer dollars. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else, Councilor Carbone?
I'm done, thank you.
Other council questions or comments? This is on items 1, 2, and 3. If not, item 4. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 25-009, and this is for Community Investment Grant CIF grant application, and this is requesting planning funds to support the Pitkin Community Center renovation and addition project. Again, we applied for Pitkin in the past for CIF grant funds. We were not successful. The feedback that we received from the reviewers was that we weren't quite ready for prime time. We needed to do more analysis, more studies, and really understand the project better. We've done that to some extent. We have a pretty good estimate of the work that we want to do now. We have a new layout, a master plan for the center, including additions, dedicated senior center, dedicated social services center, all located at that location, as well as parking lot improvements and other things. So with that, we're going to apply for planning grant, which is the next step the CIF folks told us we should do. The maximum award on that is $250,000. We'll be applying for the full amount. And with that, we're not going to be able to do the drawings. The architectural drawings is what a planning grant's for. We won't be able to do it for the full scope of the project that we have developed with the master plan, but we can do a component of it and at least get it started. And so we're trying to get as much outside funds as we can to move this project forward. So this will be on the agenda for the next meeting, and Vlada Raganis will be here to give you any further detail. We'll also have some of the schematics for the work that's been done to date to show you the layout of what we're proposing.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Further council comments or questions? Again, it's just for introduction tonight. I have Councilor Timbrow.
You had mentioned that it wouldn't be enough for the full, was it?
Yeah.
For the, 2 for 1. For the full project, so how, do you know what the gap is, how short we are?
We actually don't know right now. They're actually working, so the feasibility study we did the conceptual design, so the layout, the square footage, all the different components, and now that has gone to a budget estimator to tell us what it would cost to design and construct it, so we get the total cost. We expect to get that in the next 4 weeks or so. It takes a while to put all those numbers together, and with that, we'll know how much the 250 would actually pay for. And we can phase the project, so we can design a section of it and then move forward and then design another section, and because you can apply to CIF multiple times.
Okay.
That's a long way around it, to approach it. This is also a project that, if the council wanted to, they could bond. They could put it out to referendum. But for now, we're proposing it to, we know this grant opportunity is available, so we want to apply and see what we can get.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Timbrow.
That was my
Councilor
question.
Carbone?
No, I was going to ask about the same
Okay.
thing. Thank you.
Any other council? Again, this is just for introduction tonight. We're not voting on it. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. This is our second public comment. I'm not going to read it, the whole thing again. Does anybody from the public wish to speak? If you do, please state your name and address for the record. Nobody? Robin. I have Robin and Mr. Young.
You can tell it is
Just name and address again, I know you already spoke, but.
Robin Barassa, 248 Dale Road. I just
Thank you.
want to say thank you very much for the purchase of those cameras and implementing them. It's pretty treacherous out there. All you guys know that. Today I was driving with my daughter. Somebody blew right through a stop sign. It happens several times a day. I live on Dale Road, and no one stops at that stop sign by D&D Market either. So hopefully for future consideration, if this program is working and you can get other cameras, I'd like to suggest maybe at that location too. But I just want to thank you guys again for proceeding with this. I really appreciate that. I think our general safety is really important, and thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. Mr. Young, you're up next.
Good evening, Robert Young, 20 Copper Mill Road. Since Robin was just up here, I'd like to thank her, and I think we should all consider the fact that she did speak about that $150,000 employee that is for the that manager for the L teachers at the BOE. I don't pay much attention to the Board of Education anymore. I used to. But I learned my lesson. Don't waste your time. But hiring these new people, we're not in that position anymore. Our school, our entire town is not expanding. And I just can't believe that we would be hiring more people. And then if you look on the wall on the other side in the hallway, there's 7 properties up there for lien tax sales. That's people who are losing their properties because obviously they didn't pay their property taxes. Who knows what their situation was? But the fact is, that is the history of our town. Raise taxes and then run tax lien sales. And nobody up here cares, as far as I can see. I don't hear anybody saying anything protective or worries about those 7 people that own those properties. So I'm now going to come back to where I ended off in the budget on page 197. 197 is finance and accounting. And in there, in 2004 2024, we had a $731,000 of actuals. The next year it went up to $793,000, and this year it's being proposed for $929,000. I believe they're also indicating that they want to have a technical assistant. We don't need more people. We're not expanding. If the community was expanding, maybe you would need a new person here or there. And that includes the dog catcher too. I think you should take this right out of the budget. That's the dog catcher who needs the car, the truck, or whatever it is. On page 126, we have economic community development. And in there, we're looking at numbers. The actuals in 2024 were $605,000. The next year it's $823,000. And then it drops to $804,000. There's something wrong with the way we're doing our budgeting, or else we're building in monies to be filtering over into the fund balance, and later on, who knows where it ends up. It doesn't end up in purchasing things that are in the budget. It just goes beyond. And that's what I'm seeing going on here. We also have under page number 142, similar situation with building inspections. We're looking at a 21% overall increase in cost. 21%. I mean, who's making all of this? The salaries are going up 35%. And then, of course, defined contributions follows it because it follows salaries. That's going up 142%. That's tremendous increases. And here you have 7 people's names hanging up out there on the hallway to have their houses taken away from them because they can't pay their property taxes. And here we're talking about hiring more people, buy more vehicles, buy consultants. Come on, guys. Is this how you run your properties? Fire marshal on page 173. I mean, in there's a column called pensions, and there are pension monies, but there's no number for pension. Why not? I'm sure you'll look into it later, maybe. Then, of course, we go into physical services. Physical services where we see town hall. The town hall, as far as their electricity goes, they're going up 35 to 36%. How
Young,
can I
your
say
time
that?
is up. I'm going to ask you to
Last
summarize.
year,
Your time is up, Mr. Young.
$125,000. Now it's $170,000 into your budget year.
Thank you.
Where are we getting these increases, Mayor?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Young. Anybody else would like to speak tonight? Kevin, you're the last one I've seen.
Kevin Sullivan, 789 Wright Road, Wethersfield. Thank you. I just wanted to quickly applaud several actions that were taken tonight. The dedication of the T-ball field on Broad Street Green to the Keanes is it's a wonderful honor, and I'm so glad that you endorsed that tonight. A couple of other things related to traffic calming, the eventual installation of traffic cameras, whatever you would like to call them. I think that took some courage as a council to do that. They've come under some fire nationally with accusations that they are somehow a cash cow for municipalities. I suppose they can be, but they also can be run well and be very effective and not be punitive as a cash cow. So I applaud that step being taken. And as well, the sidewalk gap closure grant is another great step forward. I know that doesn't get us to 100% closure, but the gaps that were identified were prioritized around school walking areas. So I think the engineering department and the planner did a really good job with identifying those gaps. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else from the public? Councilors, you'll be happy to know we do not have executive session, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilor Carbone, a second?
Second.
Everyone jumped at that. Councilor Rhodes, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Nice job, everyone.